This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and we're live on the air with Queen D. Michele, and we're going to talk to her tonight for the first time. Welcome to the Phantom Electric Ghost podcast. How you doing tonight?
I am awesome, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on the show. We love to talk to people from around the world, and we love to talk to give different voices and creators a chance to have their forum here. A couple of things before we get to the heart of your story. We ask every guest a couple questions. What
Sure.
motivates you, and why do you do what you do?
What motivates me? What motivates me comes from within. I'm one of those type of people that lives from within out. And what motivates me is I know what my assignment is here. I know what my purpose, my mission, my soul contract with the ancestors is to raise the vibration of humanity. I am a retired elementary, middle school teacher. And from that, I believe my end mission is a focus on Generation Alpha. I am here, and that's what motivates me is Generation Alpha. I'm so excited to be able to tell you and enlighten everyone about Generation Alpha. It's extremely important that we know about this generation.
So that kind of segs into the question: who is Generation Alpha?
Yes.
Let us know who they are.
Yes. Thank you for asking. Who is Generation Alpha? All right. Those individuals, Generation Alpha, are born between 2010 and 2024. The oldest of that generation turned 13 last year. Now, they are the first generation to be born fully in the 21st century. They are the children of the millennials and X's as well. You know, those who got into the game a little late. They are their children. They are the most materially endowed generation in history. And they will one day be the largest generation in the history of the world.
Wow.
You're talking about Beyonce's kids and Carly B kids, Nick Cannon 12 kids,
Yeah.
and my grandson who's turning 7. And they are a very unique and special generation because mindful, understand this, since they're the first generation to be born fully in the 21st century, the tablet and the phone went in the hand in infancy.
Yeah.
Practically in infancy. They
Yeah,
were swiping.
they probably don't know books. They more know the smartphone more than a book or tablet.
Well, absolutely. They are completely, for the most part, taught externally. Their world is external. And see, now parents, of course, we play an important role in protecting and guiding our children, right? Of course we do. But Generation Alpha are functioning and operating in spaces and platforms free from influence from parental influence. Okay. In other words, this generation has access to technology and platforms that their parents don't even understand.
Yeah, and they're actually getting hit with a lot of content that is not appropriate for them.
Absolutely. You're feeling me on this, right? Okay.
Yeah.
They have ownership, authority, and influence in realms that they operate, and they influence, of course, their peers, okay, their own age. They are the generation most connected, most exposed, most educated by external stimuli. They are a different breed, and they are the digital, mobile, social, and global generation that will one day, check this out, one day guide the evolution, the conscious evolution of humanity. They are extremely important. Ever just check out Alpha, Generation Alpha. Alpha begins. There is a shift in consciousness that's taking place globally. And Generation Alpha will lead the charge in that. Now, we still have a responsibility to Generation Alpha, and that's where I came in as a creator. I created a curriculum called 52 Insights for Gen Alpha, a conscious curriculum. Now, being a retired elementary and middle school teacher, you know, I know how students will respond to, but then again, we're talking about a different generation. So I've piloted this program in 2 middle schools right here in the city of Detroit. It is being piloted currently. And I'm really excited about that because remember, I don't know, maybe you probably are too young to remember, but back when we were in school, they had classes like home economics and shop.
Well, I'm a child of the 70s. I'm actually 57. So.
Oh, okay. So you understand those type
I know
of
the
classes.
Dewey Decimal System, and I'm
there we go. Absolutely. Okay. And it served a really a genuine and authentic purpose in our lives. But see, again, the influences of Generation Alpha are not the influences that the boomers or even the millennials, you know, the X's, those influences are completely different. So we haven't put anything in place to help balance. We're not supplying them with the tools that's needed to navigate these external realms that they're functioning in right now.
I would say like I have a couple of hats. Like in my day job, I am an IT software designer, business system analyst. I've been involved with computers since the 70s.
Okay.
Right. So I'm certified in mainframe and AI and blockchain. And so I have a 25-year-old daughter that's and we lived in Japan for 2 years when she went to school. So what I've tried to teach her is to still have a hand in the old world of reading books, going to libraries, knowing how to find the data outside of the influencers, outside of the algorithms, because I'm in a world where I work with algorithms, right? I work with designing the system. I know what they do. I know what the libraries are being taught on. I know what they're not being taught on. So I'm aware of the constraints. And that's why I made sure my daughter still knew how to go to the library, still reads a book all the way through.
But see, sweetie, and you are Phantom. You are an exception to the rule. I mean, and because of this background that you had. Now, mind you, what about those millennials and the parents who, my God, they want these same things for their children, right? But they're trying to keep up themselves. Yeah, they're trying to keep up. So we're missing, they're falling through, and there's this disconnect. And what my passion and purpose is to place something in the system so that they can obtain the tools necessary.
Thinking, right?
The conscious thinking.
Yeah, like Socratic method. Like I went to Bowdoin College. And the idea there is like it's old school, like liberal arts education, sociology, legal studies, double major. And everything was blue book, oral exam, no multiple choice. So that you have to actually convince the professor, if you took a philosophy class and you read Camus or Sartre, that you had to actually explain those theories and those concepts in your own words. And not through some multiple choice. So you have to have the ability to learn.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so important. That's so important. Now, see, I wanted to read something. This is just a blip from a letter that I write to Gen Alpha in their book, and I discovered that 52 insights in all the material I created while living in Mexico. Now, see, this 52 insights, I had never, it was never my intention Virginia, the story behind how it even happened. After I retired from teaching 27 years and quickly realized that I was going to have to keep working in some capacity to supplement my pension. See, because it will never be enough. And so I would always have to work. And I didn't want to be 70 years old saying, welcome to Walmart. I didn't want to be that greeter. I didn't want to be that Uber driver. I didn't want to be that shuttle driver. I didn't want, so I began researching the top 10 places. And that was back in 2016, the top 10 places to retire. And I was living in Atlanta at the time when I retired. And after my research, and of course, at that time, it was Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Thailand, Colombia,
South America. You can good
absolutely. So Mexico checked all the boxes for me in a sense that I moved to in the state of Mexico has 32 states. I moved to the state of Jalisco, Mexico. Now, Jalisco houses the largest freshwater lake in the country of Mexico.
That Lake Chapala?
Absolutely, Lake Chapala. Now, surrounding that lake, of course, are little towns and villages. And on that north shore, it's the largest expat community in the country of Mexico.
So you did your research.
Okay, listen. Come on now. See, because
teacher, though, I expect it.
Exactly, right? and so there's a large American and Canadian, expat community there. So I landed very softly, and soon after wrote a book about. That's how I began writing. I wrote a book about my experience of moving from
the consideration of the guide for moving abroad. Is that the book?
Exactly. That was my first book, right? And from there, I developed I created a brand called Considerations of the Soul. And I started writing. I had this awakening, and I was getting ready to start this wonderful 8-month course, mindfulness course, there, and I got the call. From family members here back in Detroit, and I needed to come home. I needed to care for my parents. And so I had lived there for 4 years. I lived in Mexico for 4 years, returned home to Detroit, care for my parents. Now, this book that I wrote there, 52, at the time, it was 52 insights for living New Earth now, right? But, and I just put it to the side when I came back home. I want to do anything now. And it sat there for 2 years. And I gifted it to my niece for her birthday. And she said, Auntie, this would be great for high school. Oh, and it hit me like a ton of, I said, yes. And then speaking with another relative, she said, oh, that's perfect for middle school. And I said, middle school? Who is middle school in this moment? And that's where the deep dive of Generation Alpha took place. But I say to them, I created while living in Mexico. I never thought it was for you, Gen Alpha. You are so important to the world in the state of humanity. It is imperative that certain navigation tools are placed in your hand for creating a space for mindfulness and nurturing your internal and minimizing the external. This in turn will open pathways for you to begin consciously living your life. You are the first to engage in such a curriculum. And they are, because I'm out here now. Like I said, I'm piloting it, and I want them to. I wanted to sweep the country. So how I feel about it, because it's just that important.
Especially like what's happened in the last couple of months, because what we're dealing with right now is the dumbing down of America.
Honey,
we're going back to the lessons, like unlearning the lessons of the 1940s. Because I'm a political science major, right?
So, okay.
So we're kind of going back to oligarchy, dictatorships, tyrants, and it seems like you forgot about Mussolini, you forgot about Hitler, you forgot about like the Emperor of Japan. It seems like you forgot.
And there's and here's the thing. they're already across the board due to the pandemic. They're already a couple years behind. I mean, just straight across the the skills are it's not there. So here we are, 2 years behind. We're in a school, and I'm watching this because I'm back in the middle schools, and I'm seeing these teachers. What they have to deal with is, I mean, we had our issues as teachers, but it's a
attention
whole
span must be really bad. I mean, like I see what happens like today. What I've been talking to a lot of creative people and educators is even the adults say like the attention span of somebody like I'm a child of the 70s.
Okay.
Right. So I only had 4 TV channels, right? No cable.
Right. Come on.
Would read a book, would listen to a record all the way through. You can't get like I was talking to authors. Like authors used to write books to 200,000 words. Now they can barely get a book out for 70,000, 90,000 words, right? You can't get a song that goes more than 2 minutes. People won't listen to an album. They can't see a post more than like 30 seconds, 50 seconds, 90 seconds. Like,
come on now.
That's a big problem.
Isn't that the truth? You just speaking truth. See, and I watch these. I feel so bad for these teachers because holding the attention of this particular group up against the backdrop of the external influences and rapidly evolving technology, engaging students.
Yeah, turn the cell phone off.
It's
like you really should not
I
have
watch them. All they do is put out fires all day long. Put out fires. They try to engage them.
Yeah.
But
so like you really don't have like people haven't gotten the presence of mind to actually be situationally aware. So what I see with people do to even adults, they're on their phone. Right? They're on their wearable. They don't actually pay attention to what's around them. They don't listen. Listening like are very bad. It's like I'm in meetings with adults.
Yes, not listening.
They don't listen.
They don't.
You have to like go back and show people on the whiteboard over and over the same thing multiple times. And I'm like, back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I didn't have to do that.
So imagine a classroom of 20 plus of those. And then I won't even get off into what they're eating, because diet has it is nullifying. It is so the
too much sugar, too much caffeine, too much chemicals.
All of it. The curriculum my curriculum focuses on self-awareness. Number one, through activities that foster mindfulness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and conscious decision-making. Why don't we have just a class? Yes, you go to math, science, English, but why can't we have a class that helps them or equips them with the tools?
It's like a social etiquette class.
It's a social. I would think it would be a social, emotional learning. Social emotional learning. Yeah. Social emotional learning. It is so needed.
Well, it's like a civics lesson that people don't.
Busy putting out fires.
Well, because like a lot of people don't even like civics. Like, what's the idea of civics? Like, there's a responsibility when you're in a sociology major, right? You got the microcosm, you got the macrocosm. There's a responsibility for like within your family to be a member of the family. There's a responsibility of that member of the family to be a member of the community.
Okay, come on now.
Community be at a state level, being within national level, be at a global level, right? Absolutely. But you have people they got the individualism to the max. So you get somebody who's a bully, like his individualism that he can just terrorize everybody, and he doesn't have any responsibility to anybody around him. Then the other kids around him have no responsibility to actually defend the kids he's bullying. So there's nobody takes any responsibility because they just care about themselves. So that's where the idea of civics or social interaction or actually understanding you're part of the whole. Social
aware, it's truly missing now. And this is what I ran into as I began piloting the program and training the teachers on how to, implement the program. Here's the thing. again, they are up against a backdrop of so much. They put out fires all day. And then I come in and I say, okay, especially when we're talking content teachers, math, English. I'm trying it in these classrooms. This is a little 25-minute, take time out, 5 minutes a day to do this. This is a year-long program. It's 52 weeks. You won't even finish it in the school year. But this is how you do it. I came up against resistance from the teachers, and I get it. I'm not mad at them because here they are putting out those fires and dealing with everything that they have to deal with. And remember, they are wives and husbands, and they have children of their home and homes of their own. They have all of that too. But they come into this chaotic situation, and then I say, now teach them to breathe.
Yeah. Well, then I kind of taught the softer. It's like you don't get taught. Like, this is what happens when people go into therapy, where people end up going to life coaches and stuff after. Because a lot of times STEM doesn't cover the things in between, right? It'd be cool that if you could just focus on STEM, right? But if you're putting out fires, you can't even do the STEM.
Right? Exactly.
So it's like if you want to get to the STEM, you better deal with what you're talking about. You're never going to get to the step.
So I want, but I have to find, and I remember when I started pitching this, I would go to different school board meetings, and I would watch the chaotic banner that goes back and forth with the bureaucracy of whose fault it is, and this didn't happen, and you lied about this, and this, and they're going back and forth. And then I come up, I get the stage, I get my 3 minutes, and I tell them about this wonderful curriculum that's needed because this is what's missing. And then they say, thank you so much. Next.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times between you got, depending on what school committee you're going to, you got the people banning books. People trying to ban Black history or banning this or banning that. So you can't even get to something like you because they're spending time just trying to wreck everything in the first
Absolutely. How could they possibly hear me? But where is that audience who would? Where's that audience who gets this and said, hey, I want, this is something that's needed. We'll just have a class. This is something they go to just like they go to math. Like they go to science and they go to their mindfulness class,
Yeah, well, I think it's necessary because you can see it in employment, right? You can see it at the workplace where you get people if they haven't been taught mindfulness, and they haven't been taught listening skills, and they haven't been taught critical thinking. Come
on now,
when they get to the workplace, they can't piece things together, right? And then things get falling apart. People making all these critical errors. And it's because they got tunnel vision. I'm very into this idea of holistic thinking, of critical thinking, of okay, if you just focus on this, I'm in IT, so I look at upstream, downstream impacts. Right. So if we make this change, what's it going to do when it cascades back, coming left and right, up and down? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that are fundamental, right? There's foundational concepts. If you change something foundational, it actually affects other things. We got people that don't understand words have impact, right? Actions have impact. Non-actions have impact. They feel that I can just do anything and it doesn't matter. They don't understand the ripple effects that go all over the place, right? They don't piece it together. So when they do something, they take something out. It's you just pulled the pillar out. You wonder why the whole thing crashed down.
Right, Jingle, right? You absolutely get what I'm saying. And it feels so good to speak with someone and conversate with someone who says, yeah, that's exactly what I see. This is exactly what I know. You're absolutely correct. It feels so good because I tell you, I'm fighting. I'm in it. But you know what? I'm in it to win it because all of this was, I know that this is purposeful. I know that it's impactful. I know that it's needed. And I'm going to keep pushing for just a class. Can you have it? And it starts at 7th grade. I'm saying 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now, I want someone to come behind me Same concept, but break it down even further for first, second,
Well, if
third.
you want to
But by
start
the
as early as possible, because like when as soon as your foundation, like everybody understands this, but like if you can catch something early, you can stop the cascading effect I'm talking about. Right?
already
A
they
lot
will
of times
already
people,
know.
yeah, because a lot of bad habits, humans beings get put things on loops. So if
Yes.
you on an early age you start doing a bad loop, by the time like if you're 6 years old and you start doing this bad loop, by the time you're 10, it's hard to actually reverse that. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of work, and somebody's got to stay with you and do the work. And most people don't stay with somebody to do the work, and it just gets worse. Right?
And this is exactly because imagine my curriculum is for 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And listen, the oldest just turned 13 last year. We got an opportunity to try to get in there.
Interject it, yeah.
It's,
If
like
you can
right
start,
now.
you get into there where you can,
We
and
get
you
in
do
with
the work,
yes.
and you do the work, and you hope you can act. I think like when you do the work, it's just like this. Like I'm a musician, right? It's my spare time. It takes 10,000 hours to get good at the bass. It takes 10,000 hours to get good at piano. Then you get like muscle memory, and it just flows, right? Then you're in a flow state,
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
you can
yes.
just do it, and you don't have to second guess yourself. You're playing, you can just play. You can just pick it up, you know it. And
Yes.
same thing happens
Muscle.
with your
Yeah, I
mind.
like that.
If you're with your mind, like you think about like an athlete doing the 3-point shot. If you don't start to reprogram your bad habits or your
Mhm.
lack of mindfulness,
Mm.
right, you can train your mind like you train yourself for the 3-point shot. If you actually do the repetitive behavior, if you actually build up a plan and you stick with it and you make it sustainable, you can do it.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
it's like you have to think of it like in terms of that you can understand. So it's like if you think in terms of sports, put it in terms of sports. If you think in terms of like a music, put it in terms of music. Like however you
Get
can,
in where you fit in, but
yeah,
the,
however
the,
you can digest it.
the thread is still the same.
Yeah,
It's that repetitive muscle memory. It will come back, and then it will be a part of you. I live from within out, and that's conscious living. Conscious living is living from within out, because any and everything you ever need to know about the universe itself is within.
yeah. Well, your
It's
mind
within.
is unbelievably untapped. You don't
Yes.
use most of your mind.
Yes.
But you do a lot of things subconsciously you don't even realize. And when you start to actually retrain your minds, I'm a Buddhist, but the part of being Buddha and living in Japan, right? I learned about like certain levels of discipline.
Yes. Come
And
on
there's
now.
cool things
Yes.
where you can learn from the East. And then being on part Cherokee, and I find like there's a lot of that in Cherokee and a lot of that in Blackfoot, it's
Mm.
the same idea.
Yes. Yes.
So you can find the same ideas in the Cherokee that you find in Tokyo. You just get the same concepts,
Okay. Okay.
same mindset. So these mindsets don't have to just be the East. They're actually in Americas for all the indigenous people have the same concepts in terms of
Mm-hmm.
understanding your connection to the earth, understanding your connection to your elders, understand your connection to your inside and the outside, and respecting animals, respecting the earth, and having this communication where you're not like the only one center of everything, right? There's other things
Absolutely.
going on, right? And so
Right.
you have the indigenous people can teach you a lot
Oh, I absolutely agree, because my practice is that of African spirituality, and the same basis.
same
It is
concept.
nature.
Yeah,
It
it's the
is
same
nature.
idea.
It is ancestry. It is, because all of that again is and it's transferred through DNA.
Hmm.
It really is. It's trauma and healing.
Yeah,
Both.
trauma.
It's
Ancient,
transferred
family trauma, tribal
through.
trauma, class trauma,
Come
everything,
on.
all that
all,
trauma.
all of that, all of that. So what the goals and objectives, and there's four behind the curriculum, behind 52, is number one, to demonstrate their perspective of the quote through their chosen self-expression. Now, see, I did a quote, original quote, came from either my writings, my books, meditation,
Hmm.
and I put it out across my platforms uh, for 52 weeks straight, every Thursday. And
Hmm.
so now with that came a reflection page What comes with it is a reflection page. And then now I've created activities and practices to nibble on that quote for 1 week. You
Wow.
go in, you deep dive it, and you
That's
come
true.
back out. And and I'm talking 52 weeks straight. So the first objective is to for them to demonstrate their perspective of what that quote is saying. The second is to define and shape personal talents, gifts, and purposes. Talents, let's define and shape that, because we're no longer saying what do you want to be when you grow up. The question is, what problem do you want to solve? What problem do you want to solve when you grow up? Well, actually, what do you want to be? What problem do you want to solve? The third is to identify personal anchors, and this is so important, to assist with centering and grounding. We have no anchors. We have nothing to, they don't have the tools, and that's so important. They don't have the anchors that ground and center them to the alignment of the ebb and flow of the universe. And that's it. It's essential. And then thirdly, just practice presence.
Yeah, being present. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Bottom line.
Being present is super important. But
listen, because if you were to ask an animal, ask a dog, ask my Quincy, hey, what time is it? Quincy will say, now.
It's now, yeah.
Because what other time? It's now. and I have this watch. In each number, the only thing where the number would be is the word now. Now, all the way around, because there is only now. And if that presence and being able to tap into that presence, that's the power.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
that's consciousness.
I would just relate it to like modal jazz, fusion jazz. Like in modal fusion jazz, the idea is that you can do improvisation because you don't have to be tied to the structure of the song, right? So if you get the idea, like there was a story where Herbie Hancock was playing with Miles Davis. They were playing a song, and he hit the wrong chord for the song.
Who did?
Herbie. On the piano, he didn't hit the chord that was expected, right? It was kind of a written song and didn't hit it. And Miles actually changed his part to match the chord that Herbie played.
Look at
and then later he told, Herbie was all freaking out that he's going to get fired from the quartet. And he's like, and Miles said, no. He's like, the whole point of like modal jazz, fusion jazz is that we can evolve the song, that we can be in the moment. And then he learned that there's no bad note, there's an opportunity, right? And if you can learn how to kind of play, be able to riff off of something, right? To learn how that you don't have to go and start from the beginning.
Right, the ebb and flow of it all.
You can deal with the flow state, you can be in the present moment, and you actually can respond to it. And the audience won't even know you made a mistake.
Oh,
the only reason they know you make a mistake is if you act like you made a mistake.
Okay.
So this is
absolutely get it. You are tapped 100% in to the concept and the understanding of my curriculum, and I am lit up right now. I mean, I am vibrating. So I appreciate that, and thank you so much.
But so many people are stuck in like perfection, and also the comparison trap, right? So if you, I run into, like I'm a producer, right? And I run into like young people, and they want to be, Drake, or they want to be somebody that's already out there. So he's already out there, right? So you got to show me, what is uniquely going to be the thing that is your edge is you. It's like the song that you're scared to show me, and you're just wanting to clone Kendrick. Well, Kendrick already did it. Right?
Okay.
What's going to do it is like your unique voice that you're scared of, that we're going to work on, is give you the permission structure to be you, to work on this thing.
Man, come on, teach my curriculum. Come on and teach it, man. Come on and teach it.
That's what you have to do. Awesome. It's like, because that's how you get to be a Jimi Hendrix. That's how you get to be a Prince. That's how you get to be a Miles or a Coltrane. Right. That's how you get to be a Diana Ross. You go out there and you push it. right? You go and do what they tell you can't do. You go be an actress when you say, well, you're a singer. Like, we go be an actress. Go and try something mahogany. You go do it. You just
Okay.
that's what you do. You
That's what
push
you
the
do.
envelope. That's how you
That's what you
get
do.
out
That's what you do. And what a an opportunity for students they should have a class like this and a teacher like you. You know.
Well, you
And
just
me.
gotta help the
Where
young
are
people.
they?
You gotta
I'm
make them
trying to
understand.
find them so I can
Right.
put this goal in their hand. Because I'm telling you, had this been given to me when I was teaching in the class, ooh, I would have.
Well, that's what
Ate
you
it
need.
up.
You need thinking out the box. Like, out
Of
of the box
course.
thinking is what happens, right? You don't get an Einstein by thinking in a box. They don't get a Nikola Tesla by thinking in a box, right? Like, people who push it, they get ridiculed, right? The problem is people
They
want
do.
safety. So in safety, you don't say anything. In safety and fear, you don't push it, right? You just
Yeah.
follow you like sheep, right? When you
Yes.
go in and actually self-actualize, you're
Mm.
going to get hit with people who say it's terrible. They hate it. You're not doing the right thing. You're not in the canon. You went outside the canon. Well, you know what? If you go outside the canon, then you're going to win the war.
Uh, I everything you said, it just touches base. Now, I want the very first quote in the book, in the student book. Quote number 1 is this. Tell me what you think about this. The Matrix cares not of the quality and purpose of your life here, but only of the quantity and how much you can give over to the system. You owe no one or no thing your life.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, because like, if you want to get to be like these entrepreneurs, they didn't get their 0 to 100. Like, a lot of times what they did is actually a lot of them took other people's ideas and then they made them sign NDAs.
Ah,
but the other thing is they are willing to push it, right? So if you find somebody that didn't steal somebody's idea and didn't do the NDA way, they actually went and came up with a bunch of different ideas. They failed a bunch of times, right? What I find when I talk to executives, and I've talked to a lot of CEOs, is they have a tolerance for taking risk. They have a tolerance for
I
falling
agree.
on their
Yeah.
face and then not crawling back into a hole. They get up and they do it again. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like when you're a kid and you're trying to learn to ride a bike.
Ah,
You're not scared of falling down because you want to learn how to ride that bike or ride a skateboard or go skating
yeah. Yeah.
at an
Yeah.
ice rink or whatever. When you're a kid, you keep on doing it till you get it. If you get to be an adult, you might not do it. If you never learn to ice skate, you might not ever learn because you might not get that. You don't have that childlike dynamic
Exactly.
to do it. But that's what you
Right.
got to keep as a creator. What I've talked to a lot of musicians, and they're 60 years old or 50, they still want to do that. They're still like, people say, "Oh, you're immature." No, they're creative. They still
Okay.
have the childlike passion. They're still willing to do it.
Absolutely. We are creators. We are and that's something that's kind of beat out of us in a sense. You know what I'm saying? That we are creators. No, it's this box that they want us in, and this is not where Gen Alpha is. If we don't equip them
Yeah,
with
they're
what's
going to be
needed,
on, they're going to be on that assembly line.
yes, they are.
They're
Yeah.
going to be working
Okay.
5 jobs to
Okay.
even stay even
Come on, you understand?
in an apartment and never own a house.
Okay, you understand.
Because like, unless you get the entrepreneurial spirit, unless you look at the AI and say, well, that's going to keep me out of a job. It's like, no, the AI is going to allow me to get a 3D printer and make my own business and be a micro entrepreneur. You're thinking out the box. And I've seen kids from the Netherlands to like Zimbabwe
Really?
getting ideas
Ah.
and having an aptitude and actually taking a 3D printer and taking an idea and being a micro business and then getting to be like little millionaires very young. You see, there's a lot of young people
I
that have
tell you
taken
where
this
we're
check.
going.
They're
I'm
taking
not going where they're going. We're
Yeah.
not going where they're going, but we have to equip them. We got to equip them with what's needed and with that fire, and don't put that fire out, because I'm telling you, that's what they're trying to do. All they want is robots working, like you
Yeah.
say,
You got to be
4 or 5
understanding that
jobs.
yeah, because you can take these tools and you can use your thinking and not be working for the man, right? But you actually are the man or the woman, right?
And they really are. We haven't taught them that yet. I mean, we're keeping that from them. You can see the big picture of what they want from society. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of those ones, like I said, when I stopped working, when I gave my all, and it was it. And I said, okay, I'm done. And then I said, oh, wait, I got to still work. It was like, oh, yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. You got to keep working until you can't work anymore. And then you're going to live substandardly because you're not working. See, and no, that's not, if we just say no and we put those tools, put the tools and give them the mindset that's needed.
You're the growth mindset versus like, they have a growth mindset, and then you have somebody that's like stifled, right? And they put their own glass ceiling around their.
They do.
And then they don't say, well, learning math, that's not black. Like learning how to talk, that's not black. It's like that's like trying to be this. It's like no. It's like W.E.B. Du Bois was well spoken.
Yes, he was.
Malcolm X was well spoken.
Yes.
So that's not like don't play.
Martin Luther King.
Don't
well
give me
spoken.
That. Don't give me that.
Still looking up words.
Medgar Evers was like well spoken. Well, Medgar, like don't tell me that it's being black to be illiterate and uneducated, because we go back to Eritrea and I don't think it was like that.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
So you got to get rid of bad habits and bad
thinking,
a bad monologue, and bad self-talk.
Thinking, and you know what? And they keep us a lot of times in that with the food that they serve us. I mean, with the food that they get. Meat is not meat.
No,
meat's not meat anymore. Chicken not chicken. Eggs not eggs. Cheese not cheese. It's everything.
Well, I grow a lot of my own veggies. Like I have my own garden because I'm a cancer survivor. I am a cancer survivor, and I found out about chemical additives. I found out about pesticides.
Oh, come on!
I was a cancer survivor at age 27, level 3 sarcoma. Went through radiation treatment, chemo, a bunch of operations. And after I found out, it's the food I eat, it's the water you drink. So I've got multiple filters on my tap water.
Come on now.
I got filters on my water coming on my shower. I've got a hydroponic garden that I control the water, and I control what I feed my veggies. And I get my veggies, and I live in New Hampshire, and I go to organic farms, and I get organically certified bison and free-range chickens and free-range eggs. Now I have to spend more money, but I make
of course.
But I learned what I eat affects my brain, and I'm in the IT mind business, right? I'm in a business where I have to think, right? My
algorithms, all of that.
It's all math and stuff. So I can't be feeding myself garbage. Because garbage in is garbage out.
That's what they give us. I mean, that's what it is. And I mean, just waking up to that. That's a game changer.
Yeah, when people realize
game changer.
Don't give.
But you know what? They keep us so distracted. How do we don't have time. I get it now.
To make your own breakfast, right?
I get it now.
Breakfast.
With the distraction, you can't. You don't have time. So you are definitely out of the box. Have been for many, 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 many years. And so your daughter, you said she went to school in Japan.
Yeah. We went to school. Like she had her initial education at a Japanese preschool and a Japanese kindergarten, Nishimachi, and in Tokyo. And today she's a graphic artist. She's a she's an art designer and a artistic manager of a disabilities group of artists that do online virtual galleries for disabled artists and BIPOC artists all over the world.
Goodness.
And
my goodness.
And she's in this world where people are canceling grants. She's finding private grants. And so she's still going forward, no matter what
she will. And she will not be stopped.
She's not be stopped. Yeah,
she's out the box.
She's at her own. Yeah, she has her own business,
Look at
making
that.
her own money,
Look
to
at
being
that.
an artist full time,
Oh,
and being an advocate for artists of
an
color all
artist
over
and
the
an
world.
advocate.
And so that right there, I wanted her to be able to be an artist because that's what she showed that she wanted to be an
Yeah,
artist,
that was
and
her
say that that
talent. Yeah,
was
gift.
not antithetical to being successful because that's what a lot of parents do. They see their kid who want to be an art school and say, "Oh no, go be an accountant." And I'm like, "No, I'm going to let her go that way because I believe she can do it." And
Yes.
that's
Yes.
where you got to have parents that support where the kids are going. It's scary. A lot of parents will say, "Well, it's safer for her to be a lawyer. It's safer for her to be an actuary." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably safer, but is that really what she wants to do? Are you going to cause a lot of problems because that's not who
Down
she
the
is?
line.
Yeah,
Down the line.
yeah,
Absolutely. Unhealthy, mind, body, and spirit, because you're not walking in your purpose. We all have our journeys, our lessons, our experiences, and they cannot be denied.
yeah. That's why I
They
think you
really
shouldn't
can't.
deny.
And
Like, you
when
see
they
an
are,
artist. Yeah, if you see somebody's an artist, you don't go tell them go be an accountant because if they want to be an accountant, that's fine. But like if they're really an artist, you don't poo-poo that. You don't go say, you can't make it. Like you don't start putting that negative talk because you don't know. Like if you actually believe you can make it happen, like you have to have affirmations. Right?
that's
If you think it, you can make it happen, and you do it, it will happen. Right? Like
and
so.
that and that's a huge part of the curriculum. The curriculum involves exercises, breathing. It involves meditation. It involves affirmations. And it involves meditation. You know, they
Mhm.
have to go within, because that's where the knowledge is. That's where creation is. You go within, you come back out of there. Now you're ready
Yeah,
for
well,
the
that's
world.
like the muse. It's like the idea of the muse was like this Victorian idea, but the idea of it really is, if you get to like an indigenous idea, it's like you are tapped in because you're a vehicle, like you can channel, right? Like so, any musician that really starts to get it after they learn the technical capabilities of what their instrument
Mm.
can do, is really they start touching their soul. You start touching the spirit. You start touching the heart. So when you get a true musician, is they're tapped into the frequencies of like the universe,
Oh my goodness,
and
yes.
they
Their
can just
bandwidth is yes,
they have no
yes.
no limitation. So you get
There's
these
no
musicians,
limitation.
and they cross genre, they cross the idea, they come up with all kinds of innovative things because they're
They're
not
tapped in.
limiting. Yeah, they're not limiting themselves. They're not, and it's hard to be like that because the world tells you like you got to put some limits
I,
on. like it's like no, you don't.
yeah, but they're tapped in, tuned in, and turned on. They
Yeah,
are aligned, and they are within the ebb and flow. There's a harmonic ebb and flow of the universe.
yeah, it's
And
all frequency. Like
it's
we're electricity. We have a frequency. Right? We're like our brain waves have frequency, our heart has frequency, our breathing has a frequency, our voice has a frequency. Right?
absolute. And see, and this is what this is what my curriculum is, a conscious curriculum. And through those quotes and the exercises and the practices, they will learn how to tap mm, into their soul self. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
They tap into their soul self. Ego is put in the back seat. Ego is needed. Absolutely. Ego has
Yeah.
a general purpose, but it's not the general. So let's get the ego in the back seat. You got your soul self in the front seat, and now you're ebbing and flowing, and it is frequency. And then not only once they're taught and learn that, they also are taught how to maintain it. To
Yeah. You gotta be
maintain
sustainable.
you got
Yeah.
to maintain that bandwidth. How do you maintain that bandwidth? These are the concepts that are taught in the curriculum. 52 insights for Gen Alpha, a conscious curriculum. You have tapped completely into every aspect of my curriculum.
But I think like to stay tapped in, to stay, you have to have a sustainable thing, right? Problem is people are flash in the pan, right? They want the fad diet. They want the 10-step this, 12-step
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
15-step that.
yeah.
They want to go 0 to 100. They're thinking that in the comparison trap, oh, Mr. Jones got it, in 30 days. Mr. Jones got this and like he only did 10 steps, so I can do 5 and I'll get there too. It's like, no, like you have to work, right? And you have to work in a way that's smart. You don't do things that you can't maintain, right? If you have to run at 110%, like how long can you do that? You can't do that, right? So you have to find a way. How can you do it so that you don't kill yourself, right? How do you do it that you can be effective and efficient, right?
Yes, effective and efficient. Absolutely. Yes.
Because killing yourself is like you might hit it, but you can't do that every day. But you can't go doing the all-nighter. Instead, it's like I see these kids in college, they would do the all-nighter to get through something. I'm like, wouldn't it be better like if you actually did it the day the day that they gave it to you and you actually did it not under duress, but you actually you actually learned it instead of just throwing it together. I think too many people just throw it together at the last minute, right? And don't actually try to, maybe because they're anxious or they get anxiety or whatever, they can't get it. They got too much noise. They can't focus. But what you're talking about is like, you have to learn how to get rid of noise, learn how to focus.
Absolutely.
Understand what your story is.
Yes.
You want to be in your story.
Like, yes. That's it. Hey, cherry on top. Bingo. That's it.
Because sometimes you're in somebody else's story, right? And they did the outline that don't fit you. That doesn't actually fit what you want.
Right.
So many people, they get to a certain age and they say, oh, wow, I'm actually living my old man's story or my grandpa's story or my uncle's story or my boss's story or my neighbor's story.
Okay, yeah.
It's like,
where's your story?
Yeah.
Where's your story?
Yeah. What is that?
My goodness. This has been so much fun. I'm going to share one more quote with you. This is quote number 2. A rainy day has no built-in meaning, whether it's good or bad. It only depends on the meaning you give it.
Yeah, because you have to define.
And something like that, they'll gnaw on that all week with different exercises and practices on, for that week and then on to the next.
Well, that's good because that's open-ended. It makes you think, right? It's like the idea. Like if you just throw things at people, right, without making them think,
that's why they have to know on it for at least a week. You just can't say it and then let that be that. Let's chew on it. Let's chew the grass, and that's another quote. Learn to chew the grass and spit the sticks.
Okay? Yeah, I think there was like a famous quote from a writer that said like there was a scene in a book. It said, "His baby shoes never worn," and then he said, "Well, wonder why they were never worn." And then say if you start it's like, why were the baby shoes never worn? It's like, well, why are there baby shoes in the room? It's like, say if you have something that's not so obvious, say if you have something that's super obvious, like, oh, there's a man with a gun and there's a dead body. He's like, oh, that guy must have killed the bug or something.
Okay.
That's too obvious. Yeah, you want to have some mystery. He's like, oh, well, why is it there? It's like, the baby dead? It's like, what happened? Where's the baby? Like, that's what you get, like making people curious, making people think about it. And then that's how you pull like, writers. Yeah, writers. Yeah, the hook. How do you get somebody to stay in the book? How do you get somebody to stay on the song? It's the hook.
It's the hook.
You got to get the hook.
It's the hook. Yes.
You got to get the hook
in. Yes. You better stop it. This has been wonderful. Phantom, you are awesome. You are absolutely awesome.
Well, you got your website, the FULAamerican.org.
Oh, well, yeah, that's my nonprofit. But on that website, if they were to click on 52 Insights, it's a tab called 52 Insights. I stuck the background story and everything on there. And come March 20th, I begin the pre-sales of the curriculum.
That's awesome.
It'll be on the website.
That will be fully clickable. Like we were just on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. In the podcast description and all those platforms, you'll be able to click through on that URL immediately. And that will be available as soon as I hit the end on this stream. And we will be on every podcast platform where you can watch or listen to a podcast by tomorrow. And we'll create a landing page for your audience to check it out. So that if they want to check it out on Apple or check it out on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Amazon, they can check that out. But I want to thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Oh, my king. Good job. Thank you so much. You keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right.
You too. You keep on doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you.